So, I have a little elf living in my house. Here is his house. Some time ago, I made this house for him so that he would have somewhere to live. And he lives here, and he likes it very much. On the ground floor of his house, the elf has a fireplace, on which he has a teapot, flowers, and some dried plants around the fireplace. In the corner, he keeps a few bundles of firewood, an old map, and an alligator decoration on the wall. On the second floor, the elf has a large shelf for storing things. Here he keeps a few bundles of dried plants, a jar of flower blossoms, an old key, and a large pile of important documents and drawings on rolls. This little elf has been a traveler. He has seen many lands and had many adventures. But in the end, he prefers to spend the rest of his days in peace, reading books. The problem is that he has no books. I guess we will bind them for him. Hello, dear friends! Vida is here with you, so that each and every one of you can print whatever book you want and bind it at home yourself using my web application Bookbindersbuddy. Today you will see the most special thing I have ever shown you on this channel, and in general this video will be very unique and informative. We will be doing something that I have not shown you so far. Hey, unique miniature lovers, this video is for you. From now on, we will bind every book I make for this elf. So every week I will bind one new book, and at the end of the month I'll bind all those books for the elf. But they will be 3 by 2 centimeters in size only. Let me remind you, it will be real, readable books, just the small ones. Let's have fun! So today we are going to bind 3 books that I have already bound in a larger format: Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, Eglė, the Queen of the Grass Snakes in Lithuanian, and the poems of Federico Garcia Lorca in Spanish. And yes, my elf is a polyglot. He can read, write, speak, and think in all these languages, no problem: English, Lithuanian, and Spanish, and many more, of course. So, first, we make tiny 3 by 2 centimeters page on our text editing program and copy the text of our books into them. Then we convert these documents into PDF files and upload them to my web application Bookbindersbuddy, so that the application arranges the pages in the right order for printing at home. I would like to remind you that my font of these books is only 2 points. So I also choose the size of page numbers, only 2 points as well. The size of the page numbers will now match the size of the book text. And here we have a problem that we haven't faced before in any of the videos I've shown to you. The poems book by Federico Garcia Lorca has 26 signatures. This is far too much for such a small book for an elf. We have to consider that we will be printing these little books on the same copy paper that we use to print books for ourselves. The thickness of each signature will be the same as the thickness of the books for us. So 26 signatures for us and 26 signatures for an elf is a very different thing. It will be impossible for poor elf to pick up and comfortably read a book of 26 signatures. So I have decided that we will split this book into 3 parts and have 3 separate books: Book 1, Book 2, and Book 3. I split Lorca's book of poems into 3 parts, converted them into 3 separate PDF files, and I used my web application bookbindersbuddy to arrange the pages of the book in the correct order for printing. So first of the books got 11 signatures, the second got 8 signatures, and the third got 8 signatures as well. Now I will make this opportunity to tell you one thing about my web application bookbindersbuddy.com. A few days ago, I was contacted by a woman who had forgotten her password to my application. I want to inform you guys that we do not have any user data for the application. We do not ask for or store your email address, password, or the content of the books you used on our app. We do not know anything about you. We only know your username and the amount of credits you purchased. Sometimes people choose their email address as their username, but not necessarily. And third-party payment processing platform ask for your email address so we can send you an invoice to confirm payment, but we don't have any access to that email address or other data, any other data, including your password. Your password is encrypted, so we cannot see it. So, if you forget your username or password, we won't be able to help you. Of course, the woman who contacted me, she created a new account and I transferred her credits from her old account to her new one because I was able to find her username in the user database and see the number of credits she had left because her username was very unique. But it would be better if you didn't forget your passwords, guys. Here you can change your password if you find your current password difficult to remember. But after all, I recommend using a password manager to store all your passwords safe. Okay, let's get back to the books for the elf. Why didn't I print the whole text as one book and just have a smaller number of signatures in separate books? Because I wanted each of the 3 books to have the first page with the author and the title, and another page that says Book 1, Book 2, or Book 3. I also wanted them all to be numbered from beginning to the end individually, rather than continuing the numbering. To do this, I needed to make 3 separate PDF files and print each of the 3 books separately. As you can see, in the process I had to use magnifying glass to see the page numbers better. If a person other than Elf wanted to read these books, he or she would also have to use a magnifying glass to see the letters. How fun is that? Well, you have probably already guessed that sewing a normal-sized book and sewing a small book for Elf are two different things. For sewing, the holes had to be made every 6 millimeters. So I was looking for a needle that was as thin as possible. But ordinary sewing needles have very small holes for passing the thread, so I had to manage with a regular paper sewing needle, which was quite thick and made the holes in the paper a little bigger than I would like them to be. Another thing, since the glue line should be very narrow for this book, then I was planning to glue the end papers. I decided to make it easier for myself and just sew the end papers together with the book. And as you have already realized, instead of 3 books, we are doing 5. This time I used brown thinner cardboard for the cover instead of the usual gray thick cardboard I usually use for covers, just because I wanted to make the book lighter and more flexible. And since the books of Federico Garcia Lorca's poems are in fact one and the same book, I decided to give them identical covers of an intense red color. The only difference will be that each of the 3 books will have small metal element on the spine. The first part will have only 1 element, the second part will have 2, and the third part will have 3 of them. So when the elf put his books on the shelf, he will be able to see clearly which of these books is which part. I'm sure he will love it. So let's look at what we have done. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Agli, the Queen of the Grass Snakes. And 3 parts of poems by Federico Garcia Lorca. All these books are going on the shelf for my little friend, and a magnifying glass in case my 9-year-old son also wants to explore these books sometimes. I cannot tell you how much fun I had making these books, which are real books with real text inside to read. I challenge you to repeat this project of mine. If you don't have an elf living in your house and you don't have a house for him, at least make the books. Maybe he will be tempted to come and live with you one day. Thank you for being here with me. Take a look at my web application Bookbindersbuddy if you want to print a book at home with your single-sided home printer and bind it yourself. Take a look at my Skillshare course and see you next week. Bye!